Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And here we are on Friday, the 6th of January, 2023. And today I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about chargebacks. And we'll get to that here real quick in a second. Those of you who are with us today in the live, just putting the ground rules out there. Of course, please be respectful with your comments and things like that. Let's not attack anyone, that type of thing. But if you have a question, put it in the chat. If you have an answer to that question, of course, it would be appreciated to try to answer it. I'll try not to get sidetracked on the sidebar conversations. It's kind of difficult when you're talking and reading at the same time, but I'll do my best. If you're watching after the fact, couldn't make it, please just comment down below and put your questions down below. But either way, be sure to hit that like button, guys. It's really all I ask from you guys. So chargebacks. I was watching James' channel, My Boring Reseller Life, just checking out his thing where he had to deal with the chargeback, and he was pretty distraught about it. And I had sent him a message saying, hey, I don't know what eBay told you, but whatever that frontline rep told you was not good. Well, what happened was he had a chargeback for a non-receipt or a item not received. And even though the item showed as received, and it was all in the tracking. And I guess the frontline rep told him that he needed to have an actual receipt, a scan receipt that shows that the actual item was received by the post office. That's not true. There's no requirement in the policy that says that you have to have such a thing. If you have someone come into your house to pick up your mail, like I do, hopefully I will. Last couple of weeks has been pretty decent with this carrier. She's not leaving me a receipt. She's not giving me anything to confirm that that item has been picked up or that batch of stuff that I'm shipping out is getting picked up.
Who's on the live?
Who's?
My boring research.
Oh yeah. So so I'd love to see that email though, James, that you had to have a receipt, because it's not in their terms and conditions. It's not in the requirement. In fact, there's 4 requirements for a seller to be protected. And so, again, I see you say you got an email. I would love for you to reach out to the dispute department and talk to someone that's not a frontline rep and ask them to show you in the policy where it says that this is actually a requirement. Because if they've changed that, they need to have that in their terms and conditions. Anytime that a large company like eBay changes a policy, they are required to have it in writing for the users. It's part of their terms of service. That's why whenever you download an app like an eBay app, that type of thing, it makes you say, okay, I've read the terms and conditions for this service, and you're kind of bound by that. But if they're not telling you that, then there's a problem. I've never lost a chargeback, knock on particle board, but it's because I follow the processes that are in place, and I don't take the first rep and let them, say what they want. There's been a lot of bad information that these frontline reps give because they want you off the line. Okay. So you basically just need to stand your ground. I need to speak to somebody else, somebody in the dispute department. And if they can't give you somebody in the dispute department, then you need their supervisor. But, and really it's a matter of, at this point, in my eyes, it's a matter of just that $20 fee and not protecting you. There isn't anything in eBay's terms and conditions as it relates to chargebacks that will tell you that it's going to hurt your account. It stings, it sucks. It's a process that eBay is sort of a middleman on. eBay has to abide by what the credit card company does. And you're talking to somebody who's been through both sides. I've done chargebacks as a consumer when dealing with pallets that were nowhere near what they were advertised as, and won those cases, and also a seller. And I have sort of tricks that can kind of work within the limited eBay system when you're filing your chargeback. It's all about information. And these credit card companies, look, are just trying to make the right decision, the correct decision. And sometimes they just don't get all the information, from the seller, or, they get compelling information from the buyer, and there's not enough information from the seller to offset that. And eBay is just in the middle. They have no control over that money. In fact, that money is automatically taken away from eBay for that 90-day period. It could be up to 90 days while that's being decided. Actually, I apologize, 60 days for that for it to be decided. So just wanted, I saw your video, James, and I just thought that, that would be a pretty interesting topic. If you guys have any questions, of course, I've been involved in both sides of it. I'm sure I don't have all the information and all the data on that, but I can at least give you my experience and what works on eBay and, dealing with these call centers. I have 26 years of call center experience as an agent and as a management employee, and running my own departments within the call center. And I know that the frontline agents are just a lot of times given a script that they're asked to follow. They don't, it's the more knowledgeable ones that are in these more advanced departments, like your, there's all kinds of different departments within eBay, but they promote within, and like the dispute department. And I think that that's probably your next step. And I wouldn't take no for an answer, but again, it's not going to hurt. I don't think it's going to hurt your account. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to a good friend of the channel. He's with us today, Mike Camparelli. Thank you so much. He sent us a care package with a nice little handwritten note, and basically saying that he heard that I liked Heath bars. So I thought I would get you a few. Enjoy. There's a saying I'm sure you have heard, because what you wish for, you'll probably get it. Well, I think those should be a similar phrase for YouTubers. Be careful what you say on your channel, because there'll surely be a grateful viewer ready to accommodate. And so thank you, Mike. And he not only got me a couple, he got me a whole box of them. And of course, I had a sweet tooth.
We already dug into them.
I had a sweet tooth when I opened it up. I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, man. That's really cool. I mean, it's things like you don't expect, and you guys are great. So
let me just say, he was so giddy when
I thought
he
it was
checked
cool.
the mail yesterday.
I thought it was really cool. I saw Mike's
came
name
in
on
and
there.
he's just smiling from ear to ear, and I'm like, why are you smiling? Why are you so happy? And he's like, because I just think this is cool.
It is. It's really cool. I like it. And, it's just something think of something that happens to you that's not expected. And it just kind of makes a crappy day. And I didn't have the best of days yesterday. It makes a kind of a crappy day. It just kind of changes the whole thing. So thanks, Mike. Thanks for being a good friend and, really a good person. So thank you for that. And like I said, I've been dealing with this I woke up yesterday morning and in pain on my right back. And I think I have a rib out, and I've had it before. And it's just so you move a certain way and your body just seizes up on that side, and it takes your breath away. And it's kind of something I've been dealing with today. Just as an update, I went to a yard sale today. And despite all that, went to a yard sale, pretty darn cold.
Nothing slows this man down.
Oh, yeah. Got up and like, ooh, you know what? Let me see what yard sales are in the area. So there was a yard sale and an estate sale going on within about a couple, 2-3 miles apart from each other. So I went to the yard sale, and this lady had all these stamps, like these rubber stamps with the like the wooden handle. And they're by the company called Stamp It, I believe. And there's all different, sets. There's like sets of like 4 or 5 in each set. And I guess someone in her family passed away, someone who was into arts and crafts really big time. And, she had them out there for like $5 a set, individual stamps, like $1 here, $1 there. But, again, I kind of felt like the time I bought those shoes, I asked her what she wanted for one. And it's like, well, that's going to be costly if I try to buy on a large scale. So how much do you want for all of it? And she really wouldn't give me a number. She jokingly said $1,000, but I'm like, no. And,
Yeah.
she was, in my opinion, a little high, because a lot of these stamps, these sets are like $10 to $15. Some are free shipping. And I thought it would be kind of cool, a really easy thing to list, but there's not enough juice for the squeeze. So basically I passed, but I did pick up a couple things. This is something that you should look out for if I can find it without hurting myself. Have you heard of Hash House A Go-Go? There's one at the Rio in Vegas, and maybe there's another one somewhere else in Vegas, even though the Rio is becoming a dive. It's a really weird breakfast place where they just do weird things with breakfast, and it's kind of cool. But it's in the box, and it's one of these new cups. And
no, your eyes are not fooling you. It is crooked.
Yeah, it is crooked. It's supposed to be crooked, and I don't know if you could see it, but it's kind of offset on purpose because it's the theme. It's like a twisted. It's basically a twisted farm food is what their motto is, and it's in the box. And she only wanted $1 for it, and the comps on there shows that someone sold it for $30, $29.99 free shipping. It's only about a pound. So you know what? Hey, all day long on those kind of things. I picked up a video game. Oops, sorry guys. A video game, PS2 video game, and that was $2. And I thought was kind of cool was an airman's manual. Her son was in the Navy back in 2004, apparently. And it has a critical information checklist, and it's kind of a cool color guide on what to do in certain situations. These go for like $15. I got it for $2. So just thought it was kind of a cool little piece. Really disappointed. She had a lot of different things there, but overall, she was really kind of high. She had a PlayStation 3 with no cords, and she had no idea if it worked, but she wanted $80 for it. No, that ain't happening. External hard drive that was in the box, didn't know if it worked, but try to play it off as well. The new ones sell. I don't care what the new ones sell for. This one's an older model anyway. They have a lot thinner external hard drives, and you're wanting what? She said $40. So I'm like, no, forget it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was it. And then went to the estate sale, and there's a lot of people there. But again, we're dealing with estate sales. They had just eBay prices all over the place, and walked around, and it was just, there's no way to make any money there. So a little disappointed, but I'm going to go back out and give tomorrow a try. So let's see who we have here in the house. We have Prosser's been here for a while, so thank you for that. Victor Wawiorka is also here. We have our buddy Mike in the house, so thanks, buddy. Appreciate that being here. We have Mark from SM Postcards. I got to finally put the name with the face on the Bearded Picker channel. He had a live stream on his usual Wednesday morning live stream. So that was kind of cool to hear them, banter back and forth. A lot about postcards and things, but you learn things that you really wouldn't otherwise learn about if you didn't tune into these live streams. Let's see here. We have Art Betzold in the house. And as I said, we have James, my boring reseller life. And again, I'm really interested to see that email that they sent you. Raul Solis is in the house. Thanks, Raul, for showing up and hanging with us. Rise buys. Apparently, eBay went down Sunday or Monday night, but since then, my sales have been through the roof. Well, I don't even have a roof at this point with eBay.
We didn't get that memo.
Yeah. So just, I guess it is what it is. Just trying to get more stuff. Trying to get a hold of that lady with that garage situation. Sent her a text and called her. And she's the kind of person, though, that in the past you've sent a text and called, and like 3 days later, you'll get a text at 2 a.m. saying, hey, can you come by today? It's just really weird. So that's kind of what I'm expecting with that. Peter Harmer says, well, that makes two of us. Just had the same request from Global Shipping Program UK. Item shows delivered. I've uploaded tracking. In short, it still shows like I've had to refund by tomorrow. My trust in eBay is low. So item shows is delivered in tracking, and you're being told, I would still see eBay gives you a certain amount of time to take some kind of action. So the action that I take is to go in and upload the tracking number again. Even though they already have the tracking number, go back in and upload the tracking number again. Okay. Now that should kill the timer, but I would still reach out to eBay and say, hey, what gives here? It's an item not received case, but it clearly shows is delivered. And it's not your problem as a seller if there's a porch pirate in the area, someone who steals packages off of someone's porch or patio. That's not your problem. If it shows delivered, then you've done your part. Okay. If it shows lost in transit, this, that, and the other thing, well, then there's a different policy for that. So, for me, it's not about accepting the first answer you get, because chances are the first answer you get with eBay is going to be wrong. Eddie Estrada says, I use a post office located inside a gas station regularly to drop off packages after work. Runs by gas station employees that close the post office when short-staffed. This is causing late shipments because they're not scanning in your items before 11:59.
That's common in small towns.
But if they have the ability to scan, they should be scanning it. So I would go and talk to the manager and say, hey, look, I really rely on you guys to at least scan it in. If you turn it in the next day, then that's fine, but at least scan it in so it protects me. Sherry Miller is in the house. No relation. How are you doing today? Bearded Libertarian. Worst part of defending a chargeback: tracking is only kept by USPS for 90 days and credit card allows 180 days. So you can't prove tracking. You can prove tracking if you ship by pirate ship. So if you ship by pirate ship, you can go back in and they'll have that screen that shows the progress of the item. But if you use pirate ship, but with USPS, just their general tracking information, when you try to go to USPS.com, in fact, it recycles the numbers, so it's not even going to have your tracking after a year from now. It might be someone else's package. Just a bad system as far as I'm concerned. Trina is in the house. Hey, how you guys doing? Let's see. Picky Ricky. Hi, eBayers. Eddie wants to know, should I go back to 3-day shipping or stay on next day shipping to keep top rated plus rating and just take late shipments as they come? If it's that big of a problem, I would go and talk to the manager, whoever's the owner. I mean, it seems like a mom and pop thing. See if they can work with you. Give them if it works out, and they take care of you, maybe slip them a Starbucks gift card, or, take them to dinner or something nice, that way they'll kind of have your back. It's a mom and pop town. It sounds like everyone knows each other. So, hey, come to dinner, that type of thing. But nonetheless, James says, so on December 28th, when I clicked on the email, it stated I need the paper receipt and screenshots are not acceptable. So I added the screenshots anyway, and then called eBay, and she, quote unquote, took care of it. That was the first time any chargeback to me ever said that. I have about one every couple of weeks, and this was a first. So I wonder who the she is that took care of it. If it's a frontline rep, I wouldn't even trust that. You know what? Hey, I gave you the information. I realize you guys are very limited in what you can do, and this is probably out of your scope. But if you can transfer me to the dispute department, or in your case, if it hasn't been decided in someone's favor, then maybe a supervisor. But have them escalate the call to someone who actually handles these calls all day, instead of the frontline rep, because a lot of times I've called them I've called an agent out many times. I'm just a jerk like that, but it's because I have a call center background, and it's like, okay, wait, you told me this was the policy, but I was able to show you otherwise that this is the policy. Why did you tell me that? And they can't answer it. And they're more than happy at that point to get someone else on the phone. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I don't curse them out or anything, but it's like, come on, it's wrong for you as a representative to do that to someone who doesn't know better. Tell them something just to get them off the line, and they're going to act on that, and it's not even correct. And I have severe doubts that the information that they're giving you is correct. And if there is a change, then shame on eBay for not sharing it with the sellers and being transparent. But I mean, I guess it's not the first time, but if someone from eBay is watching, you guys got to do better if that's the case. We got Ed, the reselling writer, is in the house. So, hey, John and Jenna, thanks, Ed, for hanging out with us today. Jovial Juggler says, had a reseller wanting to return a used Windows FX projector, stating the USB drive was defective, even gave him an extra USB drive, took the 12 pictures, but didn't state no remote. Read on. Well, I guess, okay. Went round and round with this reseller, offered 50% refund. He keeps the item, still not happy, At that point, I realized I needed to get away from this buyer and read on. Geez, what's the name of this novel? At the time, I didn't realize he was an eBay seller, and I went ahead and refunded 100%. He kept the item.
Wow.
I would have had him open a return.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. I had somebody, unfortunately, buy these double walled tumblers, and we wrapped the hell out of it. I mean, I think we even double boxed that one.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, this thing has to be not dropped, but thrown off the 747 onto the tarmac to get this thing to break. And of course, sends me a message, says, hey, you know, got this. I'm disappointed to find out that one of the tumblers is broken. You know, you did a good job in packing it. He even said that in the message, did a good job in packing it. You know, just wanted to let you know and to see what we can do here. And so I said, look, he said, I can even send you photos if you need it. Now, a scammer is not going to offer anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, I could have made him go through the hassle of, yeah, send me a photo. I'd like to see it. But I told him, I said simply, you know, hey, it sucks. I'm sorry that happened. We did everything we could to make sure that this didn't happen. And, you know, if you can use the other three, I can get, and he paid like $24 plus shipping for the set. I'd give you $10 back. And, you know, if you can make use of the other three, or, you know, I'll be happy to take the return, just, you know, send it back. You know, to have him go through a claim through UPS, I can already see it's going to be a pain. UPS has already said on previous claims that they need to get to the buyer. They will go in and check in with the buyer and check on I'm not going to put the buyer through that over $20-something. So I gave him those options. And he came back and said, you know, I can find another set. These will go along with it. I'll take the $10, and that's an acceptable resolution. So I would have spent $10 on the return label anyway. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I would have received it back, and he would have gotten his refund for everything that he paid. So this salvages it a little bit. So I love giving the buyer a choice when that type of thing happens. And don't ever really let them paint you into the corner of giving a full refund. I don't know how much this cost. If it's a few bucks, then yeah, I can see doing that. But otherwise, hey, look, I can offer to give you 50% back, or, you know, if you can show that there was an actual problem with the drive, I can give you 50% back, and that'll help you invest in maybe picking up whatever can make this function properly. Or, hey, we offer a free return in this case. Send it back. I'll be glad to give you a full refund. You know, and then they start suggesting things, you know, well, I want more than that, then that's extortion at this point. If if they decide to leave negative feedback. But that's just my 5 cents. Let's see. Who do we have here? I kind of skipped ahead through that little truncated novel here. And I don't mind it. I just lost my place. Eddie says sales have been great this month. That's really good. I hear a lot of people having better sales. I'm really nipping at the bud to get out and source. Looking tomorrow to go to some yard sales. I think we have about 10 that are documented in the app, and there's probably a good 10 that are out there as I drive around. So that's my plan for tomorrow. Let's see. Trina says San Diego's a hash house. Yeah, they're kind of weird with their food.
We went with all of our rodeo.
Yep. And we used to go there for years, and it just had they have this twist, like things you wouldn't think that would be paired together for breakfast or put together for breakfast. But it's they're known for being kind of weird, and things like that, glasses and cups that are branded that have a different look to them are always going to catch people's eye when you put them up. Biff says some of those discounted stamps go for loot, but you have to know the category. I sold a Stamp It catalog from the 80s for $40. She did have a Stamp It catalog. And look, I didn't know she had all kinds of things. I mean, she had stuff that are on roller stamps that were actually looked like a roll, and you'd put it on a roll in the machine. And she had a bunch of different stamps, a bunch of those. And it's one of those things where, what do you offer? I mean, we're talking those plastic little sets of drawers that are like about 5 high. James has a bunch of them in his store. She had 2 of those filled with different size stamps. She had probably a 20 by 20 by 10 high box full of the sets that are 4 and 5, and she wanted $5 for each of them. And then I said, well, how much for all of them? And she thought I meant just the ones in the box. And she said, well, there's 65 sets in here. I'll give it to you all for $200. And I'm like, no. I was thinking, and I don't want to insult people either. So I didn't offer anything. But if she's wanting just $200 for that box, she had, those 2-tiered things full of stamps and like another 5 to 6 boxes of just craft stuff, which I was told her I want all the craft stuff. And she wouldn't give me a number. Now she's having yard sale today and tomorrow. And I gave her my number, so she'll call me. But again, if the juice isn't worth the squeeze, then I'm not even going to bother. But if she would have came back and said, look, I just want to move this, because sometimes you got to get a feel for the seller, what their motivations are. If they're motivated in just getting rid of it, look, we've been sitting on this stuff for a long time, make me a reasonable offer just so I can get rid of it. A lot of people in the yard sale, and they're doing yard sales, are going to give you that answer, and that's kind of a green light to make, look, I can give you $300 for it all, right? That kind of thing. But I'm not doing $1,000, and she was high priced to begin with, so I just walked away. So we'll see what happens. But it's another thing that I'm not really very versed in, and I'm kind of nervous because of that. But to know that there's some that can be of good value, then hey, if that's the case, I'm sure they'll be picked through between now and tomorrow. And I might even go by there tomorrow just to check in, but I'm be doing the run anyway of yard sales. Jovial Juggler says, went round and round with this reseller. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Gaff number 1. Chris Wiley says, hi friends. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Michael Biddle from Utah is in the house. Thanks for stopping by. As Picky Ricky says, upload the tracking, you win the case. Yes, that's a slam dunk. Let's see.
Trina, I'm so
over your garage sale lady. She's a hot mess.
She really is.
She is. But it explains though. I mean, look,
it explains why she has what she has, because literally I think her only motivation is her son telling her to get rid of it or I'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
And she just has no desire to, cut the cord.
I just don't know how serious she is about getting rid of all that stuff. I mean, she really appears to be attached. When you go in and start looking at some of that stuff in those totes, like those porcelain dolls and stuff, mm-hmm. She really, really has put a lot of value in her mind on that. Even when you show her comps saying that, these are only worth like $10 to $15, $20 a piece, she gets kind of like, oh, and like, we'll just put it back then. So, you can't, I don't think you can convince someone like that to move on. Maybe she'll call me and maybe she won't. I'm more concerned about, we just pulled all the tubs, and we're talking huge tubs, probably a couple 100 pounds per tub, these huge silver tubs.
Let me just tell you, when I say I don't want my inside of my house to be consumed with product, over the last 3 days, I have had single shoes all over my living room.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through every single tote that we've had of every single shoe, made pairs, put them in totes, and then still had a sea.
Probably 100 plus single shoes.
Yeah.
And there's a market for, I looked it up. You can look it up. There's single shoes, and you put amputee in the listing and the title. But do I want to mess with that?
No, they're not worth.
But my thought is, look, these shoes came out of that garage, and I'm sure that the other side of this shoe, or the other shoe, is in that garage. So you're looking at 100 plus pairs that I could potentially get into my store by just going over there and having her go through, and she's going to be pulling the stuff out for me to look through anyway. At least that's what she told me. So I'm kind of over it too. I want it to be over with because I just want to move on from that and to know what I'm dealing with. So I'll keep you posted if I hear anything. I'll stop talking about it really, because it's kind of like a broken record. Ed says the eBay is such a mess and completely unreliable, even for top-rated sellers. I did everything they suggested and told me to do, and still won't remove an unfair feedback video coming about it. So, yeah, unfair feedback sucks, but you know they will always fall under the thing, under the guise of, well, the buyer has a right to tell their side of the story and how they feel about the transaction, right? And unless they, and in fact, buyers lie all the time, and even that's not enough. They have to really violate the policy. You have to be able to demonstrate that, hey, you know, they said that they were going to leave me negative feedback if I didn't give them half their money back or something like that before they will get serious about removing it. Let's see, or you just have them return it and you can get your feedback removed automatically. JRKR 1964 is in the house. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Jeff Zenick, hi folks, thanks for hanging out. Drew Gannett says hello, happy Friday. Happy Friday. For me, Friday used to have meaning. Now it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, it really never did for me because I always had a weird work week when we worked back at Amtrak anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter.
Well, you know, for me, it's like, oh, good, I don't have to do shipping tomorrow. You know, and it means I can take the next 2 days off of shipping. That's kind of the way I look at it. Otherwise, I'm still always, you know, me. I don't take days off. I just take time off. Wasn't so cold, I'd go hit the golf ball around a little bit, but it's just so cold. I went to that yard sale today. My hands are just freezing. Darren Adams is in the house. Thanks, Darren, for hanging out with us today. Damon says, got 4 returns on my doorstep today. Had to tune into flipping ain't easy to feel better. Well, hey, I got 1 return it has a little reminder I have to deal with, and I'm going to process it this evening. But
yeah, returns are depressing.
Yeah, it's like, I know this thing worked before I shipped, and you're saying it didn't work. Okay, whatever. Shopping with Cheryl says phone reps in most companies are seldom trained on current policies. Yeah, or they're given just, here's what you say. Whenever you get this is where you want to go with it. And the sad thing is, look, it's better for them to train them. Look, this is the policy on this. This is the resources to find this policy. So if someone calls in and look, you put someone on hold for a couple minutes and you come back with an answer, people are fine with that, right? If they know that you're putting them on hold because you're really trying to help resolve their problem. But if you come back 2 or 3 times, you don't have an answer, and it's a wrong answer, it's really frustrating when you spend 45 minutes more than you should have on a phone call. Yeah. Let's see. Ed. I know, I'm just looking. Ed says, you're right, John. All the reps don't have the same experience because I kept getting different information for 2 different reps, and now I got to have a dumb, unfair negative for a year. Yeah, it stinks, you know. And when someone leaves you a negative, like someone left me a negative saying that you know, I sold a video game that, you know, apparently they said didn't work, but of course I reached out to them. I put a little thing in the reply in the feedback, you know, hey, we do free returns. Reach out, let me take care of it. I even sent the guy, look, man, just reply back to me, work with me. I'll even give you your money back if you want to take this feedback off, because that's all I care about. But you know what? I'm not going to get worried about negative feedback. You know, there's a lot of high volume stores out there that get negative feedback like on a daily basis. I mean, of course, they're doing a lot more volume than I am, but you know, it's not going to kill your sales. It's not as important as it used to be. It used to be like the end of the world back in the day. Now it's just not as important as it used to be. Constantine says, I have 3 eBay account shops. When I did register 4th one, they blocked that account after I listed 1 item. Did appeal it 5 times through email. They refused, called twice. They told me to write an email. See, it's those people who said to write an email that aren't really interested in resolving your problem. They're more interested in getting you off the phone. So get someone else on the phone. Yeah, our dogs keep running around the house. I think they really want to be on the show, but they're not going to be.
Chewy, calm down.
And Constantine says, should I worry about that? I need to register 1 more. That happened 6 months ago. I would get on the phone and talk to somebody, maybe talk to someone that's like a supervisor, not the first rep. There's probably a reason. There's probably a flag. eBay is wanting to make sure that you're able to maintain more than 3 stores. And they're probably thinking that maybe due to maybe some of your other metrics, that's not really a good idea. And so they're just trying to protect the buyer experience, I think. So get someone on the phone and see if you can get that exception made. Darren says, been picking up some good stuff on Whatnot. The key is to find the new guys with hardly anybody in their auctions picking up good deals. Yeah, like me, if I jump on there and finally do a Whatnot, I fear that's what I'm going to get. Look, I'm going to get, here, we're going to start at $2.
Well,
and
when we see Darren, we'll know.
Yeah. Let's see. Beto's Kick says, recently sold an open box water pump filter for pool for $45 with free shipping, and shipping was $35. Buyer opened a case stating it wasn't working, got a full refund, and kept the unit. Thanks, eBay. Yeah, that's why, like something like that's going to cost you $35. I mean, I charge separate shipping anyway. I don't know if that would have saved you from being able to keep that original shipping, but yeah, it does kind of stink that that happens. It's just know this, that you may hopefully weren't into that a whole lot. It's a loss on that end, and it's you're not going to be charged that at the end of the year. That's not going to accumulate on your totals as an actual sale, since it's a return or a refund. Ed the Reselling Writer says, I'm having slow sales, but it's all high dollar sales, so I'm not mad. Only 2 sales with the equal 200. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
That all day long.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Picky Ricky says, eBay sent us sellers a message in the summer about how they are going to clamp down on scammers, but they still leave these scammers on eBay, no change, because they don't want to lose. Look, people who don't pay, people who are reported, you can prove that scammed you through messages and this, that, and another thing. eBay doesn't get rid of them unless they have multiple upon multiple instances of that. Just imagine someone goes into a store and they try to shoplift, right? And the owner or the person in charge says, yeah, no big deal, we'll see you tomorrow. And then after like a week of it, they finally say, you know what, you can't shoplift here anymore. It's kind of like that. It's like they're allowing these people to come in and screw with the sellers because they don't want to lose sellers on their platform. James says, I use the crap out of the Stampin' Up stuff, and there's a lot of them there, man. They have all kinds of stuff. I mean, every occasion, this person was a collector, and I just don't know. Oops. I decided I was going to put my ringer on today and hopefully get a sale. Got one right before the show, of course, but turn it off. So yeah, those Stampin' Up things, I just, don't know, other than the comps, which were very limited. And there's just hundreds of different types or different sets. So I'll be glad to go through them if she gives me a deal, though. Art says, spent all week cleaning up my store and getting rid of bad items. That's what we're kind of doing right now.
We've been doing that too.
Yeah, just building up our liquidation boxes with stuff that we're not going to sell anymore. Picky Ricky says he donated a couple dozen DVDs the other day. Shopping with Cheryl, just got my sale for the show. Sold the phone book. Thanks to my hoarding family. Okay, so you hit that like button. You must have hit the like button. Biff Boffo, you're most likely to wise to avoid buying all those rubber stamps. Something like that isn't worth the trouble unless it's pennies on the dollar. And that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm always looking to get the lowest buy cost per item. Do I want to be into those for $2 a stamp set? No. I mean, she wants 5 for each set, and even at 2 is too high. I may do, like I was talking to Archie today, maybe do $1 a piece on the sets, and pennies on the dollar for the loose stamps that are in those drawers. Some of the other accessories and stuff are kind of interesting. But, look, I don't even want to go through it and count like, okay, we got 20 of these and 20 of those. Just give me a price so that when I bring it all back, I'm into it for like $1 a piece. Then it's going to be worth my while. It looks like they're easy to list. Just a couple pictures, of on both sides. On top, it'll show you what the stamp is supposed to be on the wooden part and the actual stamp itself to show the condition of the stamp, and just move on, right? Go to the next listing. But for me, not going to create more work for myself if I can't make anything. Ed, the Reselling Writer, says, I'm definitely going to be going through my old inventory and get rid of shoes that I've had for 6 months. Going to try Whatnot again. And yeah, there's a lot of lot of resellers on Whatnot, and that's the problem. To me, if you can find stuff, let's say at the bins, like Goodwill bins, $1.69 a pound, a lot of the stuff you're going to buy, like clothing and shoes, are going to be right around like $2 or less. So, there's no real risk to starting off those items at $2 on Whatnot and moving it. Sometimes I think Carrie, American Arbitrage, guy's doing that, and he's making like $7-8 average per item when it only cost him like $1 or $2. And of course, you build your following, that type of thing, and it works. So if you can build a following, I think that's key. James says, some of the retired Stampin' Up! Brand goes for decent money. Back when I would sell it, it was a lot better 12 years ago. Yeah, I think there was more more people.
I don't know what it is. I guess so.
Just a brand of just stamps. They're like, they have wooden handles, and they have like different designs and themes and things like that. There's hundreds of sets. Biff says, all those single shoes, some like Form of Hell. Yeah, it's just like, oh man, some of these aren't even worth, if the second one was found, really aren't worth messing with. So it's, to me, not a huge loss, but I still, we're making money on the shoes that we have, and we still have three huge tubs. Yeah. 3 huge tubs of shoes that we have the full, complete set for. So we'll be getting those up. IC says, shoes make nice plant pots. That would be really odd. I don't know.
No.
Trina says, when my grandfather passed,
boots or something.
When my grandmother passed, my auntie emptied that house out in a week. Poor grandma, she knew that was going to happen. I do empathize with the hot mess garage lady.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, look, I'm as nice as I can with her, and I guess that's part of it, right? You get a better deal, I think, sometimes when people like you. But I really kind of feel bad for her too, because of just all the stuff that she has in there.
It's just so much stuff.
Keena says, "Hey guys, I'm late again. It's all right, as long as you're here." And I'm late reading your remark, about 12 minutes late. Tommy, the Tommy Bernard podcast is in the house. Unless they get them at the bins, lots of people buy singles because of cost and hopes to find the other one eventually. Hopefully not the case. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of solds for like amputee, and I just don't know if I want to bother with that. But one thing I have to say, I did finally do the drill with the brush thing.
Yes, I took a video of you.
I know you did. Yeah, but just take our word for it. It actually, you're right. It actually does.
It works
with the same cleaning supplies. It does really work well. So kudos on that. And the funny thing is, I've had the drill the whole time, and I've had those damn brushes in my toolbox the whole time. I just didn't bother to go and look for it until just recently.
Want to know a funny story though?
Am I going to be embarrassed here?
He was trying to use the big round brush. And mind you, we have a setup on our island in our kitchen that I've laid out towels and rags all over so that he doesn't make a mess, because he's very good at.
I'm good at that.
However, I only had this, a half of a towel just in a little combined spot. He's taking the big round brush and he's and I'm like, what are you doing? Stuff is flinging and flying everywhere, and I'm like, wait, you need to stop. I brought out way more towels. I started mopping because it's all over the floor. Oops, sorry. And so then I'm like, use the other attachment, the flat one with the brush.
Yeah, that was better.
Much better. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, with me, common sense isn't always common. So, so yeah, that was fun. But thanks for
that. Was
at some really point. I you brought it up a long time ago, but finally I gave it a try, so it works. Okay, so James, one shoes that are worth it has to more of the collectible Nike and Jordan brands. I used to sell one of those shoes, and still here and there if I find the right shoe. So
we do have some of those.
Yeah.
That are singles.
Yeah. Picky Ricky, I still ship Saturdays, so I'm not stretched out in the mornings. I'll do maybe I'll run some shipping, right, and have it ready. But I Monday through Friday for me. eBay expects me, if I get a sale now after 9 a.m. today, it's going to go out on it already knows Monday is when it's going out. IC says, Trina, yes, agree, more emotional than anything else, also be a financial need as well. Suzanne, my boring reseller life, I hope you feel better. Yeah, I hope you feel better, man. I know you were sick a little while ago. Thomas says, James, hit me up. I'll give you a merchant support phone number for eBay. Never speak overseas or multiple people again. Highest tier we can get, all work from home. Never a problem ever. And a hack. Oh boy, shouldn't say. Find a department where you can get a phone number from like if you can get one in this case from Tommy. Find a department, let's say on eBay, when you like pull up a certain department or a certain policy where it says need help with this, and you'll be sent usually to that department. Now that's really as far as I'll go, and I hate not being able to put it out there, because if I put it out there, they're just going to shut it down and it's not going to be available to anyone. And so but there's ways of getting to eBay. I even had the direct number to call eBay, and it goes to the actual, asking you about why you're calling kind of thing. But that direct number to eBay just puts you over to someone in the Philippines anyway. So you're not getting anywhere. CM Retro Gaming says, hello, how you doing? Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Javier has something.
Read the above comment when you have free time. I thought I did. Maybe you just wrote it all, but maybe I got to it a little bit later. That's the one where you had the problem. Toy Diddy, if you get negative feedback, then always respond to the negative feedback. Not always. I was told by eBay and someone in the dispute department that if you put a reply on the negative feedback before they've decided to remove it, they just keep it on there. They claim it's a little harder to remove. That's what they said. But to me, maybe it's an extra step or two, because they have to remove that remark plus the other one. I don't know what it is, but they made a case that if you have that on there, chances are they're going to reject the removal request. So wait until after you've requested to have the feedback removed before you put that reply on there. Once you've actually come to terms with, well, I guess I'm stuck with it, then put the negative feedback reply, and as professional as possible, just keeping in mind the person that is going to see it, how they're going to see you, because they don't know who you are. And unfortunately, they're looking to see what kind of feedback you have. The way you reply back to the buyer, they may have been nasty to you or whatever. The way you reply back to that feedback is going to build an impression on, well, do I even want to deal with this kind of person?
Buyers.
Right. Drew says, starting using List Perfectly to cross-list my jewelry on Mercari. Sold 10 items first week with only 90 listings so far. Seems people don't mind paying for shipping on that site. I like it. Yeah, and we use Prime Lister, but yeah, you can do that with List Perfectly as well. And it's just like if you're dealing with a lot of, let's say, items that are saturated on eBay, so you have high competition for whatever type of item, you'll find that, yeah, there are fewer buyers on Mercari, but there's fewer sellers as well. And you're going to have it's going to be a lower ratio from buyer to seller, if that makes sense, than it is going to be on eBay. It's going to be more sellers to buyers on eBay on some categories. And you're going to do better in a lot of cases on Mercari. Mm-hmm. At least that's been our experience.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tommy says, never had that happen. Okay, I guess he was sent somewhere else. James was sent to someone else. They'd never happened before. Normally I get someone who does it all and is here in the US. I'm surprised with the volume that you do. You don't have your own concierge, someone in the United States. I know that there's a few channels where they went to the eBay Open back in 2019. I'm not one of them. And we're able as a gift to get a dedicated phone number. And to me, that would have been worth the $500 just in getting that. If I knew that was going to be the case, if you get a dedicated US rep who will seem like they are very dedicated in helping you. Let's see. CM Retro, going through dead inventory now, getting all the video games and collectibles ready to take to trade in at my local store. So yeah, if you have dead items like that and just they won't move on eBay and you can get some kind of value towards more product, that's really good. Eddie says, thanks, John. I'll try that out. They actually gave me a coffee once. Lately, I've switched to only buying holidays 50% off sales. I've been able to list daily without running out until the next sale.
Yep.
Let's see. Tommy says they've always told me, eBay that is, told me I'm protected against chargebacks as long as my listings isn't a prohibited item. Yes, and that's one of the bullet points in their policy. And it's, you know, as long as you're not selling a prohibited item, I got to get off of here, but it's really straightforward. It's not really convoluted at all. It's very, you know, black and white as far as what they expect the sellers to do. And if I go to chargeback and then payment dispute, seller protections, they have a whole page on that. And says when a buyer opens a payment dispute because they didn't receive the item or they don't recognize the transaction, when a buyer opens a payment dispute because they didn't receive the item or they didn't recognize the transaction, sellers will be asked to provide evidence of successful delivery to the address provided by the buyer at checkout. So that's your tracking information. Proof the buyer collected the item. Now, that's what it says here. Now, if eBay determines that the item was successfully delivered or picked up, now the whole collected the item, I think that's a pickup like a local transaction. But if eBay determines that the item was successfully delivered or picked up, will not seek reimbursement from the seller for the disputed amount, even if the payment institution decides that the buyer is owed a refund. And we will waive the refund, the seller dispute fee, or waive or refund the seller's dispute fee, that $20. Evidence of successful delivery, tracking information from a shipping carrier that shows all of the following: delivery status of delivered, or equivalent to the country which the item was delivered, the date of delivery, the recipient's address that matches the one found on the order details page, including the city, county, zip code, proof of signature confirmation uploaded as an image while challenging the payment dispute for orders with a total cost of $750 or more. That's why I always do it for, like, I think it's like $250 or more, the $250 or $300 or more. I'll do signature confirmation. Okay. Now, evidence of successful pickup. Now, for in-store pickup items. So this has nothing to do with anything other than local pickup. So these things don't matter. Okay. There's a step and process in place for someone who's buying your item local pickup. That's not required with a shipment. Nowhere in this policy did it ever say that you need to have a receipt for the initial scan, the acceptance scan. And that's what I have an issue with. If they're changing the policy and not putting it in the policy, then I've got a problem with that. And there's some other things on the side, but I don't think that those, when buyer opens a payment dispute. So yeah, that just goes to the thing I just read. So none of that stated anywhere that was required. Let's see. Sup Flippin' family. Flippin' ain't easy. Happy New Year, Ohio in the house. So not a gold bug, Paul Eberhardt. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Happy New Year to you. New Year. Let's see. Trying to catch up, I promise. Good evening. Oh yeah, you got Leonard 055. Good evening. Thanks, Leonard, for hanging out with us today. Ed says, I like using my Dremel drill for the sidewalls and my Ryobi for the soles. Yeah, just those brushes are great. It doesn't seem like it would be that much different than just really getting in there with a good microfiber cloth, but it does make a difference. It does work pretty well. There's times I still need to get in there with the goof off, though, with that microfiber towel. And another thing I like to use, if I have a really stubborn, let's say, midsole or the sole where there's dirt in there, I will go ahead and use the goof off, put a layer on there, and I'll take a very sharp, straight edge knife. I have like one of those folding blades, and I'll just take the straight edge only. You don't do it at an angle because you'll cut into the material, but you just use that flat edge, and you could scrape, and you will be surprised how much grime you'll get out that those brushes miss. And so you should try that because it
I
works
just
really
have
well.
trouble with how heavy our drill is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my arm! I feel like I've been lifting weights.
J-Dub Retro says, my amputee shoes always get purchased and canceled about 3 to 4 times before they finally sell. This is because people don't read. Like, wow, look at this. I get a pair of Nike whatevers for $10.
Yeah.
And then like, what's an amputee?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, wait, why did I only get one? Or they finally read the description.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's see. Tommy says, get a Milwaukee Fuel M12. It's so light and small. My forearms used to scream with my old heavy drill.
That's
But
me.
for someone who doesn't get out to the gym, I think that's perfect for me. Gives me a chance to just work out my arms while I'm.
I don't have any desire.
Yeah.
No desire.
Well, let's see.
What do you say? A Milwaukee Fuel M12?
Yeah. Go ahead and look that up. Let's see. I use the big 3 or 4 inch round stiff bristle brush. My basement walls get destroyed from crap flying. Have to do a good clean monthly. Yeah, we have a good area, and we have a pretty large kitchen, so a large area. So even when it flew around, she's kind of exaggerating a little bit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not exaggerating.
Exaggerator.
This time. No, it was flinging everywhere.
It was flinging somewhere, but not everywhere.
Flinging everywhere.
I don't know. Exaggerator.
No.
Let's see.
You said, I'm sorry, Milwaukee
M12.
Fuel M12.
Yeah. Paul says, I have shipped 1,100 plus items and never once called eBay. Don't plan on it. We'll just cut my losses and move on.
Wait, don't we have that?
No, we don't have that. We have a Porter cable drill. Ours is Porter cable. I've got a Porter cable drill. It's a cordless. Has 2 batteries.
No,
One's always on the charger.
The little one that we have.
Oh, we have a little screwdriver one. That ain't gonna do anything.
Oh.
No, that ain't gonna do anything. You just see there's her little screwdriver with the little brush on it. Why isn't it coming off? Uh-oh. I think that's our mail lady. If I am. You want to check? Okay. So that would be a good thing. Let's see. But yeah, going back to your comment, Paul, 1,100 items and you just don't want to take the time. I get it because time is money. I do it for a couple of reasons. One, it's very frustrating for people to have to try to navigate through a call center and know who they're talking to and who's knowledgeable and who's not. So you can waste a good 45 minutes to an hour in just dealing with those kind of people. So I have the experience dealing with the call center. I also try to gain knowledge for this channel, for my own sake, but also for this channel that I can pass on. I've learned so much in just talking to those reps, talking to finally somebody who knows what they're talking about, and to be able, sometimes I learn stuff that I can pass on to you guys as well. So a lot of channels use time that you never see. You see them make videos, but you never see behind the scenes, the time they take to edit, the time they take to research, the time they just take to get the information. And that's just kind of what I chalk it up to. A lot of people say, well, it's a waste of your time, and they criticize me for it. I get a lot of comments for that. But really, it's a dual purpose. It allows me to try to accomplish something for my store, and it allows me to learn and bring a story back to you guys, and maybe you guys can learn from that experience. Let's see. Paul says, smash the thumbs up button. I'd appreciate that, guys. If you could do that, that would be really great. It helps the algorithm get the word out that this live stream is halfway decent. And so I appreciate that. James says, I always leave a nice professional response to my negatives before I call and get it removed. Never had a problem with it not being removed because of response and 25 plus negatives over time. But that's what I was told. And that's now they're not saying it's impossible. They're saying, well, it's a little bit more difficult. I don't know why. I guess I'd have to look and see what they actually do to remove a negative feedback on their end. But they said that it's easier for them if you hadn't replied already.
Yep, she came.
The carrier came. Let's cheer for that. Hit the thumbs up for that. Thankfully, she came. Now I ran out of bags. Did you tell her we needed some more bags?
I didn't see her.
She's just gone.
Yeah,
but the
packages are gone.
Tubs
the
there.
tubs there.
Okay, maybe that's a hint that I need some bags. She
she isn't the smartest, sharpest
but
tool in
see,
the shed.
here's the thing. I went to the post office the other day, and the line to pay for stuff, if you want to go and get your stuff scanned or pay, is like 2 to 3 people deep. Not very long at all. But the line to be, I guess, to the blue door where you take your slips, people go to their PO box and take their slips to redeem the larger package that won't fit in the PO box, was out the door. And it's like, wow, I want to get a PO box, but do I want to stand in this line for must be 30, 45 minutes just to get taken care of? It's that long.
I say we go, if we get a PO box, we don't get it from there. We get it from like UPS.
Yeah, but it's just like, and then to go there and ask for bags, it's just like, I don't think that's going to happen. So hopefully this carrier can get some for me. Jovial Juggler's comment above was the buyer who was an eBay reseller sold the item for 127% markup, even used my special packaging.
Wow.
Wow. And that's great.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so at least eBay removed the negative feedback, but that's worth, I think. If that happened to me, I'd be putting out a video, and
you guys would have heard about it. If that happened,
we'd have a block party. I'd even let the guy know, guess what? I know what you did. That item you just sold was the one that you claim was this, that, and other thing. And guess what? I'm going to let other buyers know not to deal with you. That's the way I do it. I mean, maybe that's not what a lot of people would agree with, but I tend to get the last laugh when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Look for one of these at the yard sales, because they're awfully expensive.
How much?
Well, the cheapest I found is 118.
No, I'd rather get the workout. No, let that heavier Porter cable drill.
No, if you find one at a yard sale.
Yeah, okay. But I'll still use the Porter cable one.
Well,
Drew says, it's a processing app you use better than just List Perfectly. In the sense that I don't have to pay the $60 a month versus like $30-40 a month, save a little bit. And the thing is, it's a different format. I'm sure they do the same thing. I've used List Perfectly. It's really the same tool. It just presented a different way. What I like a lot is if you sell on Poshmark, you have these tools that the game that Poshmark wants you to play, the share game, right? Go through your closet and share. Who has time for that? You just go into Poshmark, go to your closet, click the 2 buttons, and it shares your entire store. And it does it in a way where it does like every 20 seconds. So it looks like a human's doing it. And I'm not aware the List Perfectly has anything like that. So
yeah, mine sends offers.
We make a lot of sales on Posh.
When somebody likes it or hearts it or whatever they do, it sends them an offer within 10 minutes of their liking, and I don't have to do anything. I literally just go in and restart the thing like once or twice a day just to make sure everything is copacetic.
Same thing with Mercari. Anyone who's liked your item, you can go in and send a bulk discount. You can set up 10% or higher. I do 10%, and I usually get offers from people or replies or sales that way. I just really think that if you're trying to put your items into more than one marketplace, you got to use, whether you're using that tool or the one I use. And there's a link down below if you want to give it a 14-day try without your credit card. If you want to start doing that, that is something that is going to really open up just a total, in my opinion, a world of new buyers for your items. Because if you're just reliant on eBay, let's say you upset eBay, let's say you have a bad week on eBay, let's say you have some, maybe you lose your seller status, it gets kicked down to above standard, you are now putting all your eggs in one basket. And you are now going to have to worry about the traffic that eBay gives you with maybe whatever you've done. I mean, if you're a bad seller, I guess you shouldn't be on the platform. But sometimes we make mistakes as we learn and things like that. I just don't like having all my eggs in one basket. And the idea that, wow, I've been trying to sell this for months. I put it up on Mercari and it's gone in a week. That's appealing to me. Because a lot of the items I get, when I'm buying those Amazon pallets, those are items that have heavy competition on eBay, but really not a lot of competition on Mercari. and that's the difference. Shopping with Cheryl says I use Snap Fresh.
They're cheaper
because it's lightweight and fits my smaller hands, but it still has power. Snap Fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. But I still use the Porter cable.
For you, but
Strong like bull.
Hello. I do it too.
Yeah, okay, well.
I have little hands.
It says all that dirt and grime always flings everywhere. But if you get that round, flat head brush, right? It's the smallest. Those brush sets come with like 3 or 4 brushes. It's the smallest one, and those generally don't make a mess.
As he.
I hope you're not using your toothbrush, but the toothbrushes that we've tried to use. I
started out with a toothbrush, but the drill works so much easier and it's faster. Because I'm very OCD when it comes to making sure that they look clean. Because I almost, in my mind, want them to look brand new again. And I have to remember that I don't need them to look brand new. So I, scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. I use little hand brushes, toothbrushes. I have a little razor that I use for all the little sock things in the back, on the inside. Yeah. And,
I'm freaked out. I was watching a channel and this guy had a pair of Jordans he sold and he didn't realize there's dog hairs on the inside. You're talking about how they get all those hairs in the inside of the shoe, right? He took a freaking butane torch in the inside of the shoe and burnt out the damn hairs.
Wow.
And then well, now it smells like burnt hair. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but it was the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, wow.
I even used that drill, the one that we have currently, to get the inside. Apparently, this person, whoever was wearing these particular shoes, I was cleaning them last night, wore them with no socks because you can see the dirt of the imprint of the foot inside. So I used the drill inside the shoe and it cleaned it. So
yeah,
it works really well. It's just freaking heavy.
My Josh says my local liquidator has roughly 6-foot Gaylords misshipped pallets. They're asking $900 for them. Looks like Amazon, Walmart, Target boxes, packages. Do I think it's worth it? So 6-foot Gaylord, if they are not picked through, will be absolutely worth it. You're probably looking at a very high piece count. Also, it depends on if they're smalls or if they're larger items. I tend to try to stay away from larger items because to me, you get more value in the smalls. We call smalls the smaller packages. So if you can tell by looking over the top that they're smaller packages, I would definitely go for it. And, if they have, maybe just buy one. And if you like them, go and buy more. Right. And if you're in the West Coast area and you don't want to give it a try, send me an email. Let me know where they're at. If they're fairly close, I'll go grab one. Let's see. Calm down, killer dog. Yeah, our dogs.
Exactly.
It's funny. They start barking.
All bark.
They bark, and it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I just look at them like, really?
If someone tried to break in the house, the dogs would bark and then run away.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would stand behind me.
Yeah. While they're barking.
Yeah.
Nellie says, hey, John and Jenna, super late, but I wanted to make sure to join regardless. Well, thanks, Nellie. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Really appreciate that. Picky Ricky says it's worth it because eBay will give you 3 courtesy refunds each year just to keep the peace. Yeah, but again, there's no free lunch. And guess what? Us sellers through our fees are paying for every one of these refunds that come out of eBay's pocket. Thomas says cleaning shoes is about RPMs, not the pressure. That's why drills make a difference. I still need Goo Gone for some things, but I put on a magic eraser type sponge. It works phenomenal. Try that flat edge on the knife. That works really good. I love it.
Wait,
it's satisfying.
Says he puts on a magic eraser type sponge
on the
drill.
No, I don't think that's
how
what it is.
In the
maybe they make them. Well, I'm sure I'll have some information on that. But that flat edge knife, a sharp knife.
Yeah, that
it's
works.
That crocodile. That's how Crocodile That's how Crocodile Dundee would clean his shoes with the edge of a knife. Nature Made in Utah says, learn my lesson on music CDs. video games, movies, going to bulk them up and be done with them. If I can't make $30 profit, I'm not going to buy it. Yeah. And that's kind of my thinking. You know, I went to this stupid yard sale. I probably could have picked up a ton of things, but then I found myself thinking, you know what, I buy this video game for $2 and I make 10. I'm like, okay, whoopity do, right? I want to get away from that kind of thing. But I don't know. To me, it depends on how much stuff do I have.
A CD a day.
Yeah, we got a bunch of DVDs,
either a DVD,
games,
a movie, or a game. Every day there's at least one.
Yeah, but it is what it is. We're making money on those, but to me, it's just a time suck. I'd rather try to
we
find.
Don't have a lot.
No, we don't. We have like a little small tubs full of stuff. So let's see. Leonard 055, always talk to a live person, but always talk to a person in the United States if you can. I mean, sometimes you get someone in Colombia, sometimes you'll get somebody in Ireland, maybe, but stay away from those Philippine call centers because they're horrible. They really don't follow policy.
Yeah, they're just.
Bearded Picker, hey, he's in the house. We got Scott in the house. If you have concierge service, they give you 3 free chargeback feedback removals. So that's really cool. Save those for when you get a negative feedback that you can't get rid of, right?
Yeah.
Bearded Picker says, did you get the UPS pickups worked out yet? No. In fact, I closed my UPS account online because I applied that stupid thing and they charged me $36 for 2 pickups that never happened. I mean, look, okay, fine. You're going to charge me $18 each time, $36, and you don't come to my house? Yeah. And so it's like
they have never come to the house.
So that
for a pickup.
I appreciate it. That thing didn't work for me. I do have a meeting with FedEx rep. This guy has been calling me for the last month.
The desperation of his phone calls it's a little too much.
So he's like, I'm gonna be out there in your area anytime next week. Let me know. And I said, well, let's just meet up at a Starbucks that's not far from here. And he's already sent me pricing and stuff, which looks really good, very good. A lot of the FedEx pricing is very good. But I said, look, the way I I will put a box in a bag. I'll put a box, I'll bubble wrap the hell out of it. I'll put the bag over it so they don't see what it is. Or of course, to protect the layer of bubble wrap that's on over the box to give that extra protection. That's how we do it. I don't like double boxing to have a box and to pay $2, $3 for a box that's going to fit that. For me, it's just a cost saving thing. It works great, but FedEx has always had a problem with it. They charge me on the average of $18 more because I have that. And I always put, when it goes FedEx, not only is it the poly bag, but the extra loose flaps of that poly bag, I have the whole thing clear taped, so there's no loose anything. It's form fitted to the box.
It couldn't get stuck in there.
We have that thing down to a science, right? We do that with UPS. It's no problem. But with FedEx, I mean, I spent about $400 in additional charges over about a 3-month period where I said, I swore it off and I'm going to go back to him. And he said that's something that we can work out. So am I willing to do that? He's willing to set everything up, have free pickups. Maybe we'll just see what he has to say. If I can get assurances that I'm going to have someone I can reach out to when that type of thing happens to clear it up, then I'll do that. And I'm also going to ask him about something for the channel. If I can, hey, if other people want to set this kind of thing up to help you drum up business, is there a link or anything that I can share with people? So, but hey, I appreciate you, Scott. Thanks for at least trying. Maybe you can send me an email and let me know how the steps you took, because I just simply used the link and followed the process and it never worked. Mad City Resale. I'm listing vintage Craftsman wrenches, sockets, sucks, but worth it. And, I really wish this lady at this yard sale today says, yeah, all the tools back there are for sale. And, it's like, I don't know what, I know Craftsman, I know to look for certain things, but I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know the cheap crap from the good stuff. And
John's not a tool guy.
I just, if it works, I'll use it, right? And I'll throw it back in the toolbox.
We have the basics to get us by.
I don't salivate over Craftsman or DeWalt or, Milwaukee. I have that Porter cable drill, Milwaukee. I'm sure Milwaukee's a lot better. But to me, as long as the thing works, this is the way I am, the way I roll.
Now, our son-in-law, He's a snap-on guy through and through.
Yeah.
And he laughs every time he has to come.
Yeah, because
when he comes over here to do anything, like he had to replace our faucet for us one time, and he was cussing the whole time because he's like, "You guys don't even have any tools." He had to go to Home Depot to buy tools to do the job. Oh my God.
Look, I'm an office guy. I've worked since I was 19 in that office, right? And that's when I started with Amtrak at 19. And I put all those years in an office setting. I've never had to, there's a lot of you out there that have busted your butt all your life, like with tools and stuff. That's not who I was, and it just my
can put
situation.
Brakes on the car though.
Yeah, I could do that. But other than that, it's like, I think sometimes it's like $200 or free, or just, buy the stuff, do it myself. And I think that was something I learned early in life, is to learn to deal with the basics on my car. But other than that, look, I'm not installing stuff. I'm good with electronics all day long, right? I could build my own computer, but don't ask me to install a sink or anything like that. I mean, I could, but I just don't.
You did our dishwasher.
Yeah, I've done. It put me in a position where I actually have to do it, I'll figure it out.
He gets so frustrated. That's why.
But that's not going to make me go to a yard sale and go, "Oh, where's that Craftsman at?" No, I know the brands, but I just don't really know what I'm looking at. And I can look up comps all day long, but you're wasting time if there's a lot of different yard sales in the area. Don't want to be a house hoarder. Wife is stressing. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to build up so much product where you just have nowhere to put it. You're oversourcing.
One thing I can say is that what keeps me at bay, because I tend to I don't want it around the house. I don't want a mess. Like right now, I'm stressing because I need to get laundry done, and I just haven't had the time. So when our product is out of control and there's a mess, why are you smirking so deeply?
Just finish.
I'll go in to do shipping in the morning, and there's tape everywhere. There's poly bags all over the place. And I have to clean that before I can get started. So organization is key for me.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it looks like it's tidy, it's on a rack or in a tote, then I'm okay. I can handle that. But when it's strung out all over the place, that's when I lose my shit.
And she loses her as the mail lady comes. Jenna had to put her piece away after making the mail lady get the packages. She got up like she ain't playing, sits back down like nothing to see her. She's got her flannel on. She's like, I ain't playing today, right? So, she's already dressed to intimidate. So yeah, I think that was pretty funny. Bearded Picker says, I have had free UPS pickups for 10 years. Well, they're trying to charge me. And even when I've called and spoke to like 3 people, they're like, we don't do that. I think that's something that someone told you before. I think I remember you saying someone told you that at UPS. Well, that's all they're telling me. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Okay. So I said, you know what, if you're not going to take that $36 off, you know what, I don't even need this account anyway. I use eBay labels. I don't buy labels from UPS anyway. So just cancel this stupid account. I don't need it. So that was the end of that conversation. Drew says, I greased my mailman at Christmas with $100 prepaid Visa gift card. We're like long time friends now, getting great. But that's just it. Look, it's sad. Okay. Some people think, well, I have to pay this guy $100 just to do their job. I shouldn't have to do that. But it's really not that. If you appreciate the time that they've saved you, it's worth doing that. But they will appreciate that. We had one backup carrier at our other house that came to the house like every Wednesday, knew him by name. Hey, do you need any of this? You need any of that? The guy was great, right? And I'm like, why can't you be my carrier? He's like, I'd rather just do this. I get certain routes like every day, and I'm happy with what I do. So unfortunately,
even our main carrier at the old house was good.
Yeah. Mad City Resale. My small town in Illinois, USPS is to have weekly meetings because I'm overwhelming them. 5 postmasters in 2 years. Had to bring in a guy out of retirement to run the office. Wow. And because you're overwhelming them, huh? Well, I mean, do they want the business? Or do they not want the business? Right. I mean, It's not like you're taking these you're taking these boxes to the counter and saying, okay, I need to buy shipping from you guys, right? And then they're going through, okay, fill this form out, for every package, which would be insane. And I've actually heard of people who actually go and buy the retail labels, but it isn't like that. You're dropping off prepaid packages. It just takes a scan. So, I mean, come on, if you can't do that, you need to get another job. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's all that difficult. Bearded Picker went to eBay Open in 2018. You get it automatically. But I also know that 2019, I was considering it. And I just said, you know what? I'm in Vegas anyway. I could do it, but do I want to spend $500 and get what I can get off? I'm getting a lot of information off of YouTube anyway. No, I'd rather just go and have fun with that $500. And so for me, the frugal side of me kicked in, but I just didn't see a benefit. If I could go back 3 years to know that there's a benefit from doing this, I would have done it in a heartbeat. $500 well spent. Anyone can have a concierge. It's just a phone number. Very, very easy to find if you look around. I agree. I'd love to have a concierge number. That would be awesome. IC says, a couple years ago, our post office got lockers and keys are put in our mailbox. Only P.O. boxes here. Some rural route, but baseball bats are free, ranging at night. Also, several days wait for stuff to be sorted. Yeah. Those smaller communities. Yeah. Of course, we have a post office like every 5 miles apart here, and they're just inundated with people that get those salmon colored slips in their mail and to go pick up a larger package. And it's like whoever's behind that blue door is just slow as hell. And it's like, do I want to deal with that? No, I don't. But I guess a UPS store would be different. Jovial Juggler on that seller who bought that item and filed a charge or filed the item not described return, and you ended up giving his money back. Love to call him out. However, that would be unprofessional. Windows FX projector sold on 12/12/22. Hint, hint. Oh, so you want me to be unprofessional? No. I will be unprofessional at times, but I got to pick my battles. Mad City Resell. Sometimes it's not our fault. The post office has costed me a lot in 2022, a lot of write-offs. True. And that's all it is. That's those FedEx fees. I mean, I think eBay gave me a credit at first, but never again. And I just had to write it off and just as a learning experience. Keena says, John said he doesn't like having all of his eggs in one basket. You better get a harness on that.
I don't have to worry about that.
Wow. I saw the emoji and I was like, wow. Okay. Picky Ricky says, I use the toothbrush and then they go in the washing machine and lukewarm wash. It works for me. But I'm afraid that some shoes would just like fall apart or lose shape or whatever. So I'm
I put some of them in the wash.
Yeah. I guess like some of the ones with like canvas material that are dirty.
Like the ones that I screwed up yesterday.
Yeah. She used what did you use? Just the cleaner.
Yeah, I just used the fat ball guy.
Yeah, we use that cleaning solution that suds up real good, and it's like a pair of Vans.
It's a pair of Vans, and it has canvas as a like a light beige color, and then it has suede, dark navy blue suede on the toe and the back. And when you put them together, it bleeds, and I ruined the shoes. Yeah. So I tried to on the other shoe, the first one I ruined, and then realized what had happened. And on the second shoe, I tried to save face, and it didn't work. It bled no matter what. So those are just going to go in the trash.
Paul says Amazon pallet store liquidation business popping up all over Toledo, Ohio. Seems like they're cherry picking the good stuff to resell on eBay. Not so good for resellers. That is exactly what they're doing. And I tell you, I went to a local liquidator out here in Vegas, and they have a waiting room. Okay, so you want to go and look at their pallets. They have someone that'll walk you around to look at the different pallets, electronics, clothing, this, that. But they have a waiting room, and you have to sign in and everything like you're at the doctor's office. And you look in, they have a room that's adjacent to this waiting room, and there's maybe a crew of like 6 people. They're all women here that were sitting in front of computers chatting and talking, and they had rolled in merchandise that they're listing. You can see eBay on all their screens, and they're listing merchandise that they've cherry picked off of these pallets, and they've left the other pallets for the other people. So that is a thing. And it's like, first of all, these liquidators have gotten wise. Why do people want this merchandise? And they start looking through it. Wow, I can sell this for $100 on eBay, $500 on eBay. Why would I put it into a $500 pallet when I can sell this one item for $500? So they've gotten wise, and they've started removing the value. Anybody watch Franchise Kicks videos? Recently, he's gone through a lot of crap liquidation pallets, and to the point where he actually had to do a chargeback on one, but said, look, he doesn't even have a source anymore because liquidation's so hard to find. You're not getting organic pallets anymore. You're getting stuff that's picked through, and that's hurting a lot of people who relied, like myself, relied on liquidation. And thank God for yard sales, because I would be like, I don't know, maybe I just go buy clothes like everyone else does. But I'm not there yet. Yard sales are really great. And even the couple I went to today, there's so much stuff. The one, I probably could have spent an hour or two there, but I knew I had to get home, so I didn't spend a lot more time than I did. Cheryl says, don't worry, she cleans the shoes with her toothbrush before she cleans the toilet with it. Art says, try using the drill inside of a tote to help with the splatter. Yeah, okay. And Keena said, that's the rooster talking.
Yeah. I'm a rooster too. That's why I know I have no issues.
Looks like mostly smaller items in those pallets that he's looking at, then I'd go for it. Give it a shot. Now, again, like I said, it's very hard to find a liquidator who is not gone through and picked through these. So if you get a lot of smalls that have $10 to $20 value, and make the most out of it, get as much money back, reselling it, but just kind of write it off, and know that it's not organic, and that seller has gone through it. Establish, maybe have a conversation with the liquidator. Do you guys pick through these? Do you guys go through them? Are these organic? That kind of thing. Yeah. If they give you the opportunity to actually look at these pallets, and it's not an online thing. They're in New York, so thank you much. Really love these. Yeah. Go for one. Seriously. I mean, of course I couldn't do it. The cost of freight would be too much, but if they're local, you can ship it out from there to your warehouse or your house or garage, whatever you process it, then I would definitely try one. And upon getting it home and going through it and checking out the comps, if it looks good, go back and get more, especially if they're a limited quantity.
Yeah.
Tommy says, Brooks is the absolute worst shoe for pet hair. Brooks owners should be banned from pets. But these are, on this video I watched, the guy used the butane torch. It was a pair of Jordans that he sold for $100.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, okay, if you sold those Jordans for over $100, those are going to go through authentication. The moment they get there, they smell those shoes, and they're going to smell that burnt smell, and they're going to look inside the shoe. They're going to see something's wrong with that. I don't recommend anyone using a torch on the shoe. Purple Hustle says, when selling liquidation, how do you avoid Veros? Do you just list items used and avoid brand names that are trademark? I mean, there's a list of Vero brands, and I've been Veroed a few times, and it's the first couple times, it's not going to really hurt you. But to be honest, on the third party, like Chinese brands, I don't even use a brand, right? I'll put together the title without the brand. And even where it asks for the brand, just say unbranded. Because you have a lot of these companies that are looking for their brand name when they're doing a search on eBay, and then they're reporting those brands. So that's one way. I mean, people aren't going to be looking for, some young guy like sewing machine brand. I don't even know if there is one.
Oh, what'd you just say?
It's a Chinese brand. I don't know. But whatever the Chinese brand name, they're not going to look for that Chinese brand. Okay. Right. They're not going to look for it. They're not even going to know about it. Okay. Off-brand. Nobody looks for it off brand, but most of them, the Chinese brands, like the ones where they put weird names on it, And it's like no one's looking for that. So why are we using that information anyway as sellers? You want to put the first 5 words in your title as what it is, what the buyer is going to be searching for. And I'd put unbranded for those. If you're using bigger brands, I mean, some brands you can't use some things like Velcro. You can't use, what can't you use? You can't use Onesie. You can't use
Velcro.
brands like that. You can't use certain brands and certain things. But
I'm
for
sure
me,
that Google has a list.
P90X, don't bother with those. Some people say Brother toner cartridges are a problem. I've never had a problem with toner. I've bought pallets of Brother toner cartridges. So I don't know. Can you let them outside?
The door's open.
Okay.
That's why I don't
Just
understand.
don't let them come back in. Just put them outside. Josh says, sorry, they're in New York. Okay. Tommy says, Gugon and the sponge cleans midsoles and light colored soles are crazy good. Atchleg S says, eBay seller here. Are you considering getting back in, or you're just, seeing how the game is? Curious about that. Dave Harrington, you need to talk to your UPS sales rep in order to fix it. But I don't have a rep. It's just when I call, I can't get anyone on the phone. They won't even transfer me. It's hard to get someone on the phone at UPS. Darren says, it's taking me a long time to learn how to restore hats, but I love taking something that nobody wants and making it look like new and getting it for 50 cents at the bins. There's a guy that I met out here. Name is Joe. Guy's like, he even has a little machine he's made. He's actually created it. It's like a UV light machine, and it removes the yellowing off of these shoes. And he gets these shoes at the bins like you do, and these things look new. They look really, really good. Paul says, I know someone who works at Amazon. Service dogs are the norm, so eBay does the pet-free home don't matter anymore. Uh-oh, we got a box. Yeah. Is that a return?
No.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing. I ordered Archie. Archie told me this little hack, and he did it. And you order from this site called christianbooks.com, and you can order like 10 DVDs, and they'll give you an invoice where you can go onto Amazon. And of course, when you open up the DVD category to be ungated, you just upload this invoice. Now he ordered 10, right? And they sent him 40, but no invoice. I got an invoice and I got 10. So got a bunch of DVDs in here and got my invoice. So that's a little hack for that category. And so that my back is seizing up on me. So I'm sorry I couldn't put it down properly.
You could have asked.
But Paul says, I know someone who works at Amazon. Service dogs and the norms based days of pet-free home didn't matter anymore. But some people it does. With respect to dog hair, it does matter because they don't want that stuff. Picky Ricky says, I won't buy anybody who states smoke and pet-free home. Why is that? I mean, to me, that would be like, well, I don't have to worry about that stuff being on the shoe and that type of thing. Mad City Resale Media is on the up. It's trending. So yeah, I got a lot of vinyl that I need to list that I've got 3 huge tubs of the vinyl that I still haven't gotten to.
Those things need to go. They're just taking up space.
Nellie Stromsky, I have decided to get rid of all my big items and glassware. That shipping is too much work for the money. That's my New Year's goal. Smalls is where it's at. I do think Smalls is where it's at on the reselling world because you know your cost of shipping, with shipping going up, it's just the smaller you can get that item. If you can get it to fit under a pound, you're going to save yourself money. That's even charging like $9.99 shipping. I think the first class labels, I think, are going to be over $7 for the most expensive one based on zone. And you just got to understand, some people feel bad. Look, I feel bad to charge them $9.99 if I'm paying $7. But if you took that same box to the post office with, and bought the label there, you'd be paying more than that in a lot of cases. So I wouldn't worry about it, and don't let that discourage you from doing that. You're running a business. Let's see. I don't know. Proto Moves. I don't know what that is. Proto. What's Proto? I roofed for 25 years, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Acheleg S says, I bought some vintage tools, but shipping costs are an uphill battle against new imports. Yeah, but some people are looking for those older tools and those brands. Nelly says, I'm cheap. Do it yourself person. Yes. Prosser.
Me too.
Prosser, I'm still here just listening while doing eBay stuff. Well, thanks for getting your eBay done.
Hey, as long as you make sure you kick out the porn, we're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want any of that. Toy Diddy, to get rid of product, have you ever sold for a loss? No, I'd rather throw it in the trash. There's really no point. If you know you're going to lose money, I'd rather give it away. Go give it away. Give it to somebody, someone in need. Your local, box it all up and take it to your local thrift store. They can put it up on their shelves and maybe make a few bucks, but never intentionally take a loss. I mean, sometimes you might, I gave the wrong shipping policy. Like, for instance, the app, I swear to you, has done this to me. I set the calculated shipping policy. The item sells a couple days later, and it's a $6.99 policy on there. It changes it on me. And I swear, I'm always looking at that, making sure.
You'll know when he's done it because he comes in the house just yelling.
Like, what the hell happened here?
What the hell happened? There's a free shipping on here.
Oh, God. Don't even have my main shipping policy that's free. So it happens to all of us, and I don't want to say the best of us because I don't claim to be the best of anything, but it happens to most resellers from time to time. But those for whatever reason, I've seen it happen in the app. I actually took a video where it actively changed my policy from a certain shipping policy to another shipping policy. I've actually watched it happen, and I don't know why it does that. But if I'm in a hurry and I'm trying to do as much as I can, I'm not going to babysit the app and go in and make sure on every item. I guess I'm going to need to at this point. Mad City says, I'm moving towards mostly selling music gear, guitars, basses, amps, and accessories. Yep, there's definitely a market for that. I just sold the violin today. Prosser says, since I had troubles with other service ups, UPS has been great for me. And I get free pickups, but then I'm in UK, so maybe it's different. Yeah, they don't offer free pickups. But to me, I think that Bearded Picker said on one of his videos that if you take a package into UPS, they're getting like $2 a hit, $2 to $3 a hit from UPS for every package they process at the UPS store. And it's cheaper for them to actually just come in and pick it up from you than to pay the UPS store. So that's the argument. But, so Rosie says, late today, how's those sales year to date? Not so great, to be honest with you. It's down, still down, but so is my merchandise. So I can't blame it all on eBay. A lot of it's
just ASP. Yeah. Our ASP right now with the stuff that's up is so low that's our goal for 2023 is to get our ASP up.
Trina says, when Jenna laughs, she lights up the room. YouTube seems so fun. Oh, if you only knew. If you only knew.
What? If they only knew what?
How fun we are.
Oh.
And just we'll say stuff.
How boring we really are.
No, I think it's all perspective. Vintage Memory says, USPS, UPS, and FedEx drop-offs are all less than 3 miles from the house. That's nice since I cannot rely on USPS pick up at the house, off to the post office 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah, it sucks. I even had viewer that watched the channel and said, poor you. I mean, they watched my video where I'm like talking about, again, my carrier's not coming to the house. And they're like, poor you have to go to the post office. And it's like, okay, whatever.
It's really a pain in the neck.
It does. You have to stop. You have to stop any momentum you have just to say, okay, she hasn't come. I'm in the middle of this, whatever I'm doing, and I got to stop and then come back and, start off where I left. Whenever you stop in the middle of something and have to come back to it, it's going to throw you off. You're not going to get into that same zone.
And how rude for that person to say such a thing. You don't know how far we have to drive.
Yeah. Tommy says, I will tell you, after being a UPS driver for 20 plus years, the people that show you little gratitude with even a cold drink or whatever it may be truly changes the way you treat them. Yeah. I agree. And I don't know at what point, maybe a few more weeks of this, reliable coming to pick up my stuff. Maybe I'll say, hey, here, thank you for your, taking care of it. And maybe that'll keep her.
She's been consistent. And
Yeah.
I'm truly grateful for that. I mean, she keeps it up another, couple of weeks. She just might get a Starbucks.
Yeah. Jaded Retro says, I need yard sales to start up again. Something bad. Yeah, they're out there, depending on, at least out here.
Well,
wherever you're at. If you have snow on the ground, people aren't coming out. Cheryl says, I'm picking through everything before I have any sale for my brother's estate.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Get
do.
that stuff up on eBay. Nature Made Utah. Question is, once I print out a shipping label at home and tracking says it's shipped, does it cover me on eBay for 1 day shipping, even though it hasn't been scanned? No, it does not. You got to not only process it, but you have to actually turn it in and have it scanned by midnight of the day that eBay is telling you to. Silver Hair Stacker sold an exercise board for $150 plus shipping. Broke my $700 vintage dining room table packing it. That's some net loss. Wow, that's not good.
Wow, what is some young guy?
That's what I said. Some young guy.
Oh.
Because I broke it and it irritates me.
No, because I smoke.
Smoke and it irritates me. Okay, smoke it. It's smoke and it irritates me. What are you smoking, Picky? Because it's actually leaking into this room. I'm actually smoking it with you.
No, it sounds like you are.
I know. Picky Ricky says we can buy from each other, then Prosser and I won't have to sniff each other's products.
Ew.
Racists against smokers. Hey, all racists smoke. Picky Ricky, no, I call them anti-smoking fascists. TikTok, you can hand wash in warm water. Okay, no, that's hand wash in warm water. Well,
I think they're.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Paul says, sell low, make it up on volume. Sometimes people just need the money. Yeah, if that's your last resort, though, look, I can't find the higher ASP items. Then you're really going to have to really get a lot of items up and be like James with 40,000 items in your store. Picky says it's the ex-smokers who are the worst for complaining, because I think even the smell of smoke after you've smoked for years, I think is like makes you
sick.
Yeah. Nellie says when you don't smoke, the smell is too much. Nothing negative, just a preference. Plus, it can mess with the asthma for some folks, and it causes yellowing on some stuff too. Picky Ricky, yeah, some people don't like the smell of curry, but hey, I don't eat curry either.
I don't like curry.
Tommy says, no, it costs UPS exponentially more to send drivers to houses than it does on access points or UPS store to pick up hundreds of boxes and sweep. Trust me, UPS has a residential area surcharge for a reason. Yeah, but if you're sending, let's say I just took 6 big boxes of stuff to go to Amazon FBA, to me, it seems like it would be easier, less if they're doing a route anyway through my neighborhood, just to stop and pick it up rather than paying $2 to $3 to UPS for that. I don't know. Nonetheless, if they have an actual discounted program program code to get that free pickup, I don't know why they're not honoring it, but maybe they've cracked down on it. I don't know. Nellie says, I'm in the sticks, so going to the post office is a decent drive for me. I absolutely concur. So yeah, if you're far away, that's really bad. I mean, just to have to stop what you're doing and to drive an hour, round trip or each way, that would be really bad.
I would.
Picky Ricky says, my kids won't even eat peanut butter because everyone wants to be a nanny. So we are actually an hour and 43 minutes into this. And we are pretty much at the end of your comments. Nada Goldberg says, UPS like customer service at the store now. People taking loose footballs and sheets to UPS as free returns. Takes forever to wait in line. Yeah, that Amazon thing where you don't have to package it. Just bring this barcode and we'll pack it for you. I tried to do that one time, and I guess whatever I selected, they said, no, you have to actually pack it up and bring it to us. So LT Trans says, hello, how do we check how much we paid for return shipping? We offer free shipping. It'll give you on the return shipping label, when you approve the return, it should tell you an amount, and that's where it would tell you. I don't think it tells you anywhere. It could maybe if you look at the transaction details for that sale where it shows 0, you click on the actual 0. Once you've refunded, it'll show that amount, but you should go in there and it may tell you the amount for the free return. Bearded Picker says, I ship 100 packages UPS weekly, lives 6 miles from the hub, saves UPS money versus me taking to a store. Hub manager agrees and gave me his cell for any issues. That's where you have it. If you have, look, these guys, he's in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah. So he's out in Alabama. So maybe they're just friendlier out there.
Well, yeah, they're not friendly here.
Nelly says, I hope everyone has a great evening. And Paul says, smash the thumbs up button over 115 live watching. Yeah. And then so Mad City says, take it easy. So you know what, guys, thank you for taking the time. Again, you could have been doing so many things. And I guess like Prosser, you could be working while you're listening, right? But the fact that you're here with us today means really everything to us. So thank you guys for just being who you are, and even the new people just showing up and saying hi.
We had a few new commenters too, so thank you.
Yeah, so thank you guys. It's a community of resellers. We all have that in common. We can all get out here and say, you know what about this? I've encountered that, and chances are pretty likely, I may not have the answer, but someone in chat's going to have it, or maybe give you a perspective and give you an idea on where to go. And that's really why I like these lives so much. So thank you for being a part of that and making the lives. It's really not us. We're just here in front of the camera. But you guys are what make the lives what they are. So I just want to thank you guys. Thank every one of you. And looking forward already to Monday's live to share with you all the stuff I'm able to find at the yard sale or the yard sales on Saturday.
Good weekend.
Yeah. So once you guys have a great weekend, and just know,
wonderful weekend.
Chargebacks, if you sell enough stuff on this platform on eBay, chargebacks are going to happen. It's the cost of doing business, but make sure you take the time, look at all the policies, call eBay on their policies if they try to give you a different answer, and take it to another level before it costs you that extra $20, or simply, it's not going to hurt your account when you get a chargeback. It's more aggravating because you now lose the item and the money and the $20 if you lose a chargeback. But it's yet another example of how sometimes flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.